Today we're going to be answering the question, can you lose weight and get fit on a South Asian diet? And what are the best South Asian foods for fat loss? Because back in 2014, I thought it was impossible until I made a few changes that led me to get into the best shape of my life and win a bodybuilding show whilst eating South Asian foods every single day. And over the past 10 years, I've helped thousands of South Asians achieve their own transformations using the same method. So here are the 3 changes you need to make to a South Asian diet if you want to lose weight and keep it off for life. Now, my name is Akash Vagela, and this channel is about one thing, helping busy professionals get lean, healthy, and in shape for life without extremes. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button and let's dive in. If you're South Asian, you'll know this. We love food and we love feeding others even more. Telling your family that you're eating differently can feel like breaking a cultural law. You might even wonder, is it possible for me to lose weight? What about my South Asian genetics? Here's the truth. You don't need to give up your culture. You just need to change how you cook, plate, and prioritize your food. The real problem, the traditional South Asian diet has 3 main issues. Too much oil, too many carbs, and not enough protein. It's a reflection of old cultural beliefs where being well fed meant being healthy. Even today, in many families, being lean is seen as weak and being chubby means you're doing well. Things are changing and our generation is more health conscious than ever before. But unless you know how to modernize your diet, it's easy to slip back into old habits. At one family event I went to recently, the dal being served had 2 layers. The bottom 80% was dal and the top 20% was a shiny puddle of oil. And that's the problem. Years of cooking with poor quality oils creates what I call hard fat. It's only a theory with no hard evidence, but I've seen it in so many South Asians with poor lifestyle choices. You'll see it most around the stomach. It's firm, stubborn, and inflamed, and you can't really pinch it. It's just hard. When you finally start losing weight, that hard fat begins to soften, and it starts to feel like rice grains under the skin, before then feeling like normal, pinchable body fat ready to burn off. Then there's the genetics. When I was at university, I conducted a study on the impact of diet on fat burning, and as part of a separate analysis, I compared ethnic differences. And guess what? South Asians, especially Indians, were some of the poorest fat oxidizers. Part of this comes down to famine adaptation. For centuries, our ancestors lived through food scarcity, meaning the people who could store energy the best were the ones who survived. That's why even today, our bodies are exceptional at holding on to calories, but not so great at burning them. The problem? We're now living in an environment of constant abundance, with Uber Eats, buffets, and snacks everywhere, while still running on bodies built for famine. And when you add a sedentary lifestyle, high carb foods, and oil-heavy cooking, it's the perfect recipe for belly fat, insulin resistance, and that classic skinny fat look. But it's not just biology. Culture plays a huge part too. Most of us were raised to prioritize grades, careers, and stability, not sports or strength. In our culture, success has always meant wealth, education, and status, rarely health. And there's a reason you don't see many South Asian footballers in the Premier League or athletes in the NBA or NFL. Part of it may be genetics, but most of it is the environment and our culture, the values we were taught growing up. Now the good news is, none of this is a life sentence. You can't change your genetics, but you can change how they express themselves. So with the right training, nutrition, and habits, you can get into incredible shape, just like the thousands of South Asians I've helped at R&T Fitness. Change 1, tame the oil. If you want to get lean and stay lean, you can't keep cooking your food the old way. You want to stop pouring oil by feel. Instead, use a teaspoon, not a ladle, or even switch to a 1-cow spray, because it saves you hundreds of calories instantly. Here's 3 tips to keep the flavor without the fat. The first is to toast your spices dry in the pan first. Mustard seeds, cumin, fenugreek, whatever you've got. Then add tomatoes, onions, and your protein. The second is to parboil your veggies or potatoes first, so they cook evenly with less oil. And the third is to marinate your proteins overnight with ginger, garlic, chili, turmeric, garam masala, and lemon juice. Flavor goes up and calories go down. You'll save anywhere from 100 to 1,000 calories a day, depending on how heavy-handed you were before. And trust me, your food will still taste incredible. Change 2, make protein the star. Here's the biggest issue with traditional South Asian meals. They're almost always protein deficient. And more lentils or chickpeas doesn't fix it. They're great foods, but mainly carbs. Protein builds muscle, controls hunger, and stops that skinny fat look most of us struggle with. So build every meal around proteins first, then add your carbs, and then your fats. Here's some easy options. If you're vegetarian or vegan, tofu, tempeh, soy mince, low-fat paneer, 0% Greek yogurt, skyr, or protein powder in smoothies. If you're non-veg, you've got chicken, fish, prawns, eggs, and even occasionally lean lamb. You want to aim for around 2 grams of protein per kilo body weight as your daily target. So if your weight is 70 kilos, you want to aim for about 140 grams of protein per day. So example day of eating with protein sources only could look like the following. Breakfast, 250 grams of yogurt or curd, plus a protein scoop, which will give you about 45 grams of protein. Lunch could be 250 grams of tofu or 200 grams of low-fat paneer, giving you 30 to 35 grams. A snack could be a protein shake, giving you about 20 grams of protein. And dinner could be 150 grams of chicken, fish, or tempeh, giving you 35 to 40 grams of protein, which totals anywhere between 130 to 140 grams of protein without doing anything fancy. And if you're cooking for a full household like my mum, here are some of her favorite tactics to get protein in and make it realistic for the whole family. What have you done to make sure that there's protein sources always in your food? We're still mixing with the plate itself.
Yeah. People used to always say, lentils got enough protein, lentils got enough protein. Never knew that I had to add other sources. So now it's always 40 to 50 grams of protein source. Tofu, low-fat paneer. Greek yogurt, I usually have it for dessert, but you can add it onto your lentils or veggies. You know, it'll make it sort of thick and creamy.
Yeah. How did you go from using, ladles of oil to now not using any of it at all and still keeping the flavor?
Having no oil makes no difference because you're still adding your masalas and that gives the flavor. And
then the last thing is carbs. South Asian diets have rotli, rice and potatoes all on the same plate. What are the strategies you use to make it smarter?
So for the family, I always ask them, are you going to have rice or rotlis? And then it's either or. So it's never both. Everyone's happy with that and they feel full.
Change 3, run a smart carb strategy. This is where most people go wrong. A plate of lentils or beans, plus rice, plus rotlis, sounds normal, but that's double or triple the carbs with barely any protein. Here's the fix. Pick one main carb, rice or rotlis, not both. Make half your plate vegetables, a quarter protein, and a quarter carbs. And then swap rice or wheat-based carbohydrates with potatoes to increase food volume with fewer calories. And the biggest trick, make your veggies taste Indian. Use your full spice rack. Adding herbs and spices like coriander, turmeric, paprika, ginger, garlic, and cumin can transform bland vegetables into a delicious addition to your meal. And here's a quick example to demonstrate how effective these swaps are. 4 rotlis and a chickpea curry can get close to 1,000 calories easily. But 2 rotlis with tofu bhuji and veggie sabzi will taste just as good, keep you full, and halve the calories. This is a great example of working with the culture and making sure your taste buds are still satisfied. So can you actually do this long term? For sustainable weight loss, you need 2 things. Get into and stay in a calorie deficit for a long enough period of time and learn how to maintain results without feeling like you're on a diet. The South Asian diet is just like any diet. It works if you know how to work it, and it fits with your lifestyle, goals, and performance. I could tell you portion control is all you need, but let's be honest, it won't work with the South Asian diet because you might think you're controlling your portions, but each bite could be up to 100 calories in density. This is why you need to try the 3 smart changes I've shared in this video. But let's address the bigger problem. I filmed this video because the South Asian population suffers more than most from being skinny fat or overweight, especially in the belly fat area. What's worse are the health problems that come along with this, where diabetes and cardiovascular issues are often considered normal. I'm fed up of attending events and having elders compare how many medications they're on. What we need is a cultural shift and a new mindset about what we're putting in our mouth. No more lathering in oils, butter, and ghee just for the sake of it. No more stacking of rotlis to see who can eat the most. No more protein-absent meals making up most of the diet. My favorite transformation journeys are ones for my family. Seeing my parents change their eating habits and lifestyle and get into the best shape of their lives is something I hope inspires generations to do the same. In fact, I've tried for years to get my grandma sold on the idea of a protein shake, and I think now she enjoys one every single day with their breakfast, mixed into her oats. But it still, of course, is a work in progress. Because if we want to make the typical South Asian diet healthier, we must focus on the habits of our elders too. So to recap, to get in shape on a South Asian diet, you need to, number 1, tame the oil, number 2, make protein the star, and number 3, run a smart carb strategy. Same culture, same flavors, different outcomes. And if you want to help putting all this together into a custom diet and training plan built for you, click the first link in the description. I hope you found this video helpful, and I'll see you on the next one.